Oh, hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Pat the Sound Guy. I'm back again. Yes, that's me. I'm back. And today, we're going to give you a ham radio video. Haven't done one of those in a while. Well, not too long. I've got an interesting video here about clotheslines. I was watching YouTube a while back, and I saw a random video about clotheslines in the United States and about HOAs and the right to dry. Well, what does the right to dry and a clothesline have to do with ham radio? Well, as a lot of you know that you may live in the United States in an HOA. I don't live in an HOA. I'm in here in Nova Scotia, Canada. But we did have covenances where in some neighborhoods you weren't allowed to have a clothesline to dry your clothes, depending where it was in the city or something like that. So, but what does that have to do with ham radio? Well, in HOAs, a lot of you know, you're not allowed to have antennas or things like that in your yard. Well, can you have a clothesline in some states in HOAs? Well, yeah, apparently you can. Can you turn your clothesline into an antenna for your ham radio? Well, it turns out you can. So once I saw the video, and I've been thinking about this, and I've already used my clothesline as a ham radio antenna to listen. But here's where I got to thinking. So I ordered one of these on AliExpress. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them almost anywhere. Now, they're a very inexpensive 9-to-1 I guess you'd call this, unbalanced transformer. And they're very inexpensive. I've seen lots of videos on them, and they're not the best made device, but you can make your own. You can order better 9-to-1 ununs. But anyway, so what I did was, I got to thinking, well, let's hook this up to the old clothesline. And here is my clothesline. This is back in April when this unun arrived. You look in the far right hand corner of your screen, you'll see the unun next to my 64-to-1 unun. And I just connected the transmission line from in the house here to the 9-to-1 unun, and I put an alligator clip jumper lead onto my clothesline, and it's just a randomly length wire. I don't know how long it is, 60 something feet maybe in length, but this is just my plain old clothesline. And turns out I turned my radio power down a little bit because I didn't want to melt that little unun, but you know, at 20 watts I made a contact to Finland within about 3 minutes of hooking this up. And ta-da, well, there's your antenna right there on your clothesline. And I got to thinking, man, I'd seen this video about right to dry. It's like, wow, there you go. There you have it. You can say, hey, whatever states you have right to dry laws in, you can have a clothesline, and you say, let's just make my clothesline into a ham radio antenna. And let's just list off a few of the states here that are right to dry. So it says right to dry laws, also known as clothesline laws, exist in some states to protect the right of homeowners to dry their laundry outside on a clothesline, regardless of restrictions imposed by homeowners associations or other governing bodies. These laws aim to promote energy conservation and reduce reliance on electric dryers. And as we can see here, the different states. Let's see. States are right to dry laws. Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nevada, New Mexico, North Carolina, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, and Wisconsin. That's quite a few states. I think it's 20 states. And it lists here, says Utah allows your local jurisdictions to decide whether to forbid bans on clotheslines. And here in Canada, Ontario had lifted their bans on clotheslines in 2008. And here in Nova Scotia, we weren't allowed to have clotheslines in different restrictive covenants, they said, which means different neighborhoods, which is like, it's kind of like a covenant's like an HOA. And kind of, not as strict, you know, they just have some rules what you can and can't do in certain neighborhoods. But they lifted that. I remember my sister talking about that because she was wanting to clothesline in the city here in Halifax, and they were a little bit sketchy on that. And once that came in 2010, she was like, off we go, clothesline all the way. And well, for I think it was $10, I bought this 9-to-1 for, and like I said, hooked it up within a few minutes. I made a contact to Finland, and I was like, man, some of these HOA folks, this might be a great little thing. So there's my little and man, I just clipped it on. Now you probably would like to make your antenna be pretty neat and tidy. So you want to make a nice clothesline in your yard, I would suppose, to make it fit in with what your decorative scheme would be of your property. But as something else I was thinking of, I was looking on Amazon, and I was thinking clotheslines, and I was like, maybe another idea for a clothesline would be something like a retractable clothesline. And this might be something to think about. So I look on Amazon. There it is. It says it's 49.21 feet long for your retractable clothesline. You could crack that open possibly and put in a piece of wire, maybe 14 gauge wire. Who knows? Wouldn't that be something? That looks like it's at least 14 gauge in diameter, that rope that's inside that retractable clothesline. So that might be something. That's $23 on Amazon in Canadian dollars. So that might be something to think about too. If you want to make something that's not quite a more permanent clothesline, you can put this on a corner of a shed, or maybe corner of your house, or maybe on a pole, or something that's, you know, a pretty inconspicuous thing. And this would be something that nobody might not notice. Then you might have a hook somewhere on a fence or on the other side, and this might be something to think about. Just an idea that, yeah, so something to put in your little brain there, to have an idea in the back of your head, just to say, hey, this might be another option. So thanks for watching, everyone. I just thought this might bring this to your attention. A way to beat the HOAs with your ham radio antenna, just to make it a little easier. Anyway, thanks for watching. And this is Pat the Sound Guy signing off, and we'll catch you on the next one. Rock on.